My name is Marcus Rivera, and I'm 24 years old. I should be celebrating right now because I'm 3 months away from graduating with my psychology degree. Instead, I'm staring at an email that just ruined my entire night. Student loan payment due $847.32. The notification popped up on my phone right as my 19-year-old sister Sophia was cutting into her celebration cake. The bakery frosting spelled out, "Congratulations on your acceptance to Johns Hopkins Medical Program," in perfect cursive. My stomach twisted as I processed both scenes simultaneously. $80,000. That's what I owe for my education while Sophia is apparently heading to one of the most expensive medical programs in the country. I work 2 part-time jobs and live on ramen noodles. She works part-time at a boutique and somehow affords designer handbags. "Marcus, take a picture of your sister." My mother, Isabella Rivera, used that special tone reserved exclusively for Sophia's achievements. Mom's a high school teacher, so she knows how to project her voice. The neighbors definitely heard through our townhouse walls. I'm the older son who's been fighting for scraps of attention my entire life. Sophia is the golden child who can do no wrong. It's been this way since she was born, but lately the disparity feels more extreme. "How are you paying for Johns Hopkins?" I asked, trying to sound casual while holding up my cracked iPhone for photos. Mom's expression shifted. "We'll figure it out, Mijo. Family always finds a way." There it was again, that phrase that somehow never applied to me. When I needed help with application fees, I was told to learn responsibility. When Sophia needs anything, family magically finds resources. My girlfriend Emma says I'm too harsh about the favoritism, but she didn't grow up here. Emma Thompson is 23, studies business, and comes from a family where love gets distributed equally. She doesn't understand what it's like to be the afterthought child. "I'm just so proud," Mom continued, squeezing Sophia tighter. "My baby girl is going to be a doctor. I've been studying psychology for 4 years. I understand family dynamics and toxic patterns better than most people my age, but understanding something intellectually doesn't make living through it any easier." The knot in my chest felt familiar, like being hungry at a feast where everyone else gets served first. Sophia caught my eye over Mom's shoulder. Her smile wasn't the sweet sister expression from Mom's Facebook posts. Something calculating flickered there. My phone buzzed again. "Credit card minimum payment due, $127. I've been surviving on ramen and hope, picking up extra tutoring sessions just to cover basics." Meanwhile, Sophia's planning her medical school wardrobe with money that apparently materializes from thin air. "Emma's coming over later," I announced. "Oh," Mom's enthusiasm deflated. "Don't let her stay too late. Sophia has orientation tomorrow." Always something with Sophia. Some reason why household schedules revolve around her needs. I stopped mentioning my own deadlines years ago. They disappear into the noise of Sophia's perpetual spotlight. Dad stays quiet during these moments. David Rivera learned long ago that disagreeing with Mom about Sophia leads nowhere good. As I watched my sister pose for more celebration photos, I couldn't shake the feeling that something bigger was happening here. Something beyond typical parental favoritism that would explain how a part-time waitress affords medical school while her psychology major brother drowns in debt. I just didn't know the truth would destroy everything. The favoritism didn't start when Sophia got into medical school. It began the day she was born, and I have 20 years of evidence to prove it. I was 4 when Sophia arrived, old enough to remember how everything changed overnight. Before her, I was Mom's little prince. After her, I became the kid who needed to set a good example and be more mature. My 5th birthday party was canceled because Sophia had colic. Mom said we'd celebrate later, but later never came. Sophia's first birthday, however, was a neighborhood event. Professional photographer, custom cake, relatives flying in from Puerto Rico. I watched from the corner, wearing my too small shirt because the clothing budget had been redirected to Sophia's party dress. The pattern established itself early and never wavered. When I was 7, I broke my arm falling off my bike. Mom drove me to urgent care, but the whole ride she kept saying, "Boys need to be tough, Marcus. Don't cry like your sister does." I sat in that waiting room for 3 hours, trying not to whimper while my bone throbbed. 2 years later, Sophia scraped her knee on the playground. Mom left work early, rushed to school, and took Sophia to the emergency room. They came home with ice cream and a teddy bear. Sophia milked that tiny scrape for a week of extra attention. The bedroom situation still makes my blood boil. When Sophia turned 10, Mom decided she needed privacy to develop into a young lady. I got kicked out of my room and had to share with Grandpa Rivera until he passed when I was 16. Sophia's new room got redecorated 3 times before her 13th birthday. My space in Grandpa's room consisted of a twin mattress on the floor and a cardboard box for clothes. "It's temporary, Mijo," Mom would say whenever I complained. "Sophia needs her own space more than you do." Temporary lasted 6 years. School achievements followed the same script. When I made honor roll in 8th grade, Mom put the certificate on the refrigerator for about a week. When Sophia got a B+ on a math test in 6th grade, Mom called everyone she knew. "My brilliant daughter is so gifted in mathematics." I started keeping my report cards to myself after that. Perfect grades felt meaningless when no one cared enough to celebrate them. The worst part wasn't the obvious favoritism. It was how Mom gaslit me whenever I pointed it out. "You're being dramatic, Marcus. I love you both equally." Or my personal favorite, "You're older, so you should understand that Sophia needs more help right now. Right now. Always right now." Sophia was always in some crucial phase that required the family's complete focus and resources. By high school, I'd learned to expect nothing. When other kids got cars for their 16th birthdays, I started working at a grocery store to save for bus fare. When Sophia turned 16 last year, she got a used Honda Civic with a giant bow on top. Mom's explanation: "Sophia's more responsible with transportation." The girl who'd crashed her bike into our mailbox 6 times was apparently more responsible than me. I developed anxiety around age 15. Panic attacks would hit during family dinners when Mom would spend 40 minutes discussing Sophia's day and ask me one generic question about school. My chest would tighten, and I'd feel like I was suffocating in plain sight. "Marcus seems moody lately," Mom would tell Dad. "Maybe he's jealous of Sophia's success." Sophia's mediocre grades and part-time job at a clothing boutique constituted success, while my 3.8 GPA and 2 jobs barely registered as effort. Emma was the first person who validated my experience. We met in a business psychology crossover course last year. She watched me interact with my family at a campus event and later said, "Your mom treats you like you're invisible." "That's just how families work," I'd replied automatically. "No, Marcus, that's not normal." Emma comes from a family where both kids get equal birthday parties and equal college support. Her parents ask about her brother's life with the same enthusiasm they show for hers. When she described normal family dynamics, I realized how broken mine were. "You should document this stuff," Emma suggested after I told her about the bedroom situation. "Maybe for your psychology studies, family dynamics research." I started keeping notes, initially just to process my own trauma. Page after page of incidents, patterns, and emotional manipulation tactics. What began as self-therapy became a comprehensive case study of narcissistic parenting and golden child syndrome. The documentation helped me understand that Mom's behavior wasn't love, it was control. She kept Sophia dependent through excessive pampering, while keeping me hungry for approval through strategic neglect. Classic manipulation psychology. But understanding the pattern didn't make living through it any easier. Every family dinner still felt like watching a one-person show where Sophia was the star and I was the unpaid stagehand. I just didn't realize yet that the financial favoritism I'd always suspected was actually criminal fraud. By 16, I'd learned that waiting for family support was pointless, so I stopped waiting and started building my own life. My first job was bagging groceries at Save Mart. Minimum wage felt like freedom. While Sophia got allowance money for existing, I earned calluses from stacking cans and pushing carts. Marcus is so responsible, Mom would tell friends, like responsibility was a consolation prize. I became obsessed with self-improvement. YouTube videos about investing and psychology replaced music on my phone. I taught myself coding, started tutoring classmates for $20 per session. Word spread fast. Soon I had 5 regular clients and real money. I hid my income from family, not from shame, but because any success of mine got redirected to Sophia somehow. Marcus can help pay for Sophia's SAT prep, Mom suggested when she discovered my tutoring business. I opened a secret bank account. College applications were lonely. Mom spent months helping Sophia research schools and visit campuses. I filled out my applications alone at the kitchen table after everyone slept. My acceptance to State University with partial scholarship got a distracted, "That's nice, honey." I worked 25 hours weekly throughout college while maintaining a 3.8 GPA. Psychology fascinated me, partly because I wanted to understand my own family dysfunction. Professor Anderson noticed my dedication early. "You have real insight into family systems," he said after I submitted a paper on narcissistic parenting. "Consider graduate school." That's when I met Emma Thompson in our business psychology crossover course. She was presenting on consumer behavior, completely comfortable commanding attention. Everything I'd been taught not to be. We collaborated on projects, spent hours discussing behavioral economics at coffee shops. Emma came from a different universe where both kids got equal birthday parties and college support. Her family stories sounded like fiction to me. "Your situation isn't normal," she said after hearing my childhood stories. "That favoritism is psychological abuse." No one had used that word before. Abuse. Emma explained that emotional neglect and systematic favoritism were manipulation tactics. "Document everything," she suggested. For healing and research, I started keeping detailed notes about family interactions, daily microaggressions, voice changes when Sophia appeared, how achievements got different receptions. Seeing patterns written down validated years of self-doubt. Emma and I started dating 6 months later. She was the first person who consistently showed interest in my thoughts and goals. Dating her felt like discovering I'd been emotionally starving. "You're going to be an amazing psychologist," she'd say. "You understand trauma from the inside." I dreamed bigger. Maybe my own practice someday. Maybe helping others from toxic families. My painful experiences could become professional strengths. I even started writing about family dynamics and psychological manipulation. Professors encouraged academic publishing. Everything was falling into place despite family neglect, not because of support. I was building a life that would make me proud, even if they never noticed. I just didn't know Sophia was building something too, something designed to destroy everything I'd worked for. The discovery happened completely by accident. I was using Mom's laptop to print my senior thesis because mine had crashed and her email was still open. I wasn't snooping. The subject line just caught my eye. "Ray, additional donation Sophia Rivera Medical Program." Donation. What donation? My finger hovered over the trackpad. I knew I shouldn't look, but something about that word additional made my stomach twist. I clicked. "Dear Mrs. Rivera, thank you for your generous contribution of $50,000 to the Johns Hopkins Medical Program Enhancement Fund. This brings your total donations to $127,000 over the past 18 months. As discussed, this ensures Sophia's continued placement in our program despite her academic probationary status." Academic probationary status. My brilliant sister was on academic probation. I scrolled through more emails, my hands shaking. Payment confirmations, tuition transfers, something called academic support services that cost $15,000 per semester. The numbers kept climbing. $200,000, maybe more. My phone buzzed with another student loan reminder. $847 due in 3 days, and I'd been living on ramen for 2 weeks to afford it. I screenshot everything before I lost my nerve. Then I dug deeper into her email folders. Sophia's school expenses contained 2 years of financial records that made me physically nauseous. Private tutors, $30,000 annually. Test preparation services, $8,000. Academic consultation, $12,000. Even something called grade enhancement program for $5,000 per course. Grade enhancement. They were buying her grades. Marcus, Mom's voice from downstairs made me jump. What's taking so long with that printing? Technical difficulties, I called back, frantically forwarding emails to my own account. Almost done. I found her bank statements next. A separate account I'd never known about, funded by something called Education Investment Portfolio. The deposits were massive and regular. Where was this money coming from? Then I saw it. A loan application in Dad's name. $150,000 home equity line of credit, approved 6 months ago. They'd mortgaged our house to pay for Sophia's fake success. My chest felt tight. While I'd been working 2 jobs and surviving on pasta, they'd been spending more on Sophia's education than most people's houses cost. Not just spending, they'd been buying her grades, her acceptance, her entire academic career. I printed my thesis with trembling hands and cleared the browser history. Upstairs, I found Emma's number and called immediately. "You need to see something," I said when she answered. "Can you come over tonight?" "What's wrong? You sound weird." I found out why Sophia got into Johns Hopkins. Emma arrived an hour later. I showed her the screenshots on my laptop, watching her expression change from confusion to horror to rage. "Marcus, this is fraud," she said finally. "Like actual criminal fraud. They're buying grades and lying to institutions." "I know." My voice sounded hollow even to myself. "And your parents took out a mortgage to pay for it while you're drowning in student loans." I nodded. Emma started pacing around my tiny room like a caged animal. "This explains everything," she continued. "Why Sophia never studies but gets good grades. Why she has expensive clothes on a part-time salary. Why your mom is so defensive about her achievements." "There's more," I said, pulling up Sophia's social media. "Look at this." Her Instagram was full of medical school life photos, study groups, lab coats, expensive textbooks. But I'd started noticing something weird lately. The timestamps didn't match her class schedule and some of the locations looked wrong. "She's been posting fake study photos," Emma realized. "Look, this is supposed to be from her anatomy class last Tuesday, but she was working at the boutique. I saw her there." We spent 2 hours going through everything. The financial fraud, the academic dishonesty, the elaborate lies Sophia had built around her fake success. My perfect sister was a complete fabrication, funded by money that should have helped both of us. "You have to confront them," Emma said. "With what?" "Hey Mom, I was snooping through your emails and discovered you've been committing fraud. Marcus, they stole your future. While you've been working yourself to death, they've been buying Sophia a fake life with money that could have paid for your education too." She was right, but I felt paralyzed. Confronting my family meant destroying the illusion that had held us together for years. It meant admitting that everything I'd suspected about the favoritism was actually worse than I'd imagined. "I need more evidence," I said finally. "If I'm going to blow up my family, I need to be absolutely certain." Emma squeezed my hand. "We'll figure this out together. I just didn't know that Sophia had been watching us through my bedroom window and she was already planning her counterattack. Sophia's revenge started the morning after I discovered the emails. "Hey big brother," she said sweetly over breakfast. "Emma seems nice. I hope she's not just using you for help with her business classes. Some girls do that." That afternoon, Emma texted, "Your sister showed up at my study group, said you told her to come." I hadn't told Sophia anything about Emma's schedule. When I called Emma, she explained. She kept asking personal questions about our relationship. Specifically asked if I was still in contact with my ex-boyfriend Ryan Mitchell. Emma's high school ex who'd transferred colleges. Why would Sophia care about him? Over the next week, Sophia appeared everywhere Emma and I went. Coffee dates, study sessions, the gym, always with excuses. "I was just in the neighborhood," she'd chirp, sliding into our booth uninvited. Then she'd spend an hour asking Emma personal questions while making pointed comments about college relationships rarely lasting. "Your sister is really intense," Emma told me after Sophia crashed our third date. She keeps saying I deserve someone more exciting. That's when the fake crisis started. Sophia came home crying, claiming she was being bullied at medical school. These girls are spreading rumors that I don't deserve to be there, she sobbed to Mom. They're saying my grades aren't real. I watched from the doorway as Mom went into protective mode. Sophia caught my eye and smirked. She knew that I knew the rumors were true. The bullying story gave Sophia excuse to be emotional and needy. Mom would cancel plans to comfort her, and I'd be expected to show understanding for your sister's stress. The final straw came when Emma showed me an Instagram DM from Sophia. I've been thinking. I feel like I should tell you something about Marcus. He's been under stress. You seem amazing. I'd hate to see you settle. I'm here if you want to talk. She's trying to break us up, Emma said. But why? Emma hesitated. What if she knows that you know about the fraud? Then she added, remember how she asked about Ryan? I looked him up. Ryan's Instagram showed a girl with hidden features but familiar hair. I think Sophia's dating my ex. Everything clicked. Sophia wasn't just interfering, she was clearing the field. I confronted her at a cafe. I know about Ryan, I said. Her smile dropped. And the fraud, $200K, Sophia, while I lived on ramen. You don't get the pressure I'm under. Pressure to fake success. Later, I told Mom everything. You're jealous, Dad said. Sophia cried. He's harassing me. You mortgaged our house for fake grades, I snapped. Mom hugged her. Marcus, apologize. I looked at them. I have proof. The room went silent. Sophia stopped crying. Everything, the payments, emails, academic fraud, all of it. Sophia's mask slipped completely. You wouldn't. Try me. Mom went pale. Marcus, whatever you think, I have evidence of criminal fraud, and Sophia's dating Emma's ex while destroying my relationship to cover her tracks. Sophia laughed bitterly. So what if I am? Ryan appreciates me. Unlike some people who spend all their time tearing me down. You manipulative. Enough, Dad boomed, but it was too late. The truth was out, ugly and unavoidable. My family stared at each other, all pretenses stripped away. I realized they would never admit I was right. They were too invested in the lie, so I made a decision that would change everything. The next morning, I made 3 phone calls that would destroy my family's lies. First, Johns Hopkins Admissions Office. I'd like to report suspected academic fraud involving a current student. I have documentation of payments for grade enhancement and fraudulent donations. Second, Emma. I'm done protecting them. I'm reporting everything. Marcus, this will explode your family. They exploded it first when they chose Sophia's lies over fairness. Third, Professor Anderson. I need advice about academic fraud in my family. I explained everything. Marcus, if Sophia fraudulently enrolled in medical school, she could harm patients someday. You're doing the right thing. Within 48 hours, everything unraveled. Johns Hopkins investigated and found Sophia's real records, the payments, the grade manipulation. She was expelled immediately and banned from reapplying to any medical program. The financial investigation revealed worse than I'd suspected. Mom had mortgaged the house, maxed credit cards, borrowed against Dad's retirement. Total debt, over $300,000. Emma confronted Ryan about Sophia. He admitted they'd been dating for months, that Sophia called Emma crazy and possessive. When Emma showed him evidence of Sophia's manipulation, he dumped her immediately. The family meeting was nuclear. You destroyed your sister's future, Mom screamed. I exposed the truth. Sophia destroyed her own future by cheating. Sophia stared at me with pure hatred. I hope you're happy. You ruined everything with fraud instead of effort. Dad spoke quietly. The bank is calling the loans. We might lose the house. Because you spent $300,000 on fake achievements instead of supporting both children equally. We wanted to give Sophia the best opportunities. What about my opportunities? I worked 2 jobs while you spent my college fund on her fake grades. Professor Anderson helped me document everything for a psychology journal case study. The paper got accepted and caught publishers' attention for a full book. Emma supported me completely. You did the right thing. It took courage. Sophia got a retail job. Her Instagram went from medical glamour to silence. The golden child facade crumbled. Mom tried guilt one last time. Families should protect each other. Real families protect through honesty, not fraud. You taught me family finds a way, I just found a different way. The house went into foreclosure. Mom and Dad separated, unable to handle the wreckage. But I felt free for the first time in my life. No more walking on eggshells around Sophia's fake achievements. No more watching resources pour into lies while I struggled. The investigation uncovered that some of my student loans had been illegally diverted to Sophia's expenses. The bank forgave those amounts. Justice felt better than I'd imagined. 2 years later, I'm in my own therapy practice, seeing my book Surviving Toxic Families at 3 on the bestseller list. After grad school, fully funded thanks to my research on family manipulation, I turned my trauma into a specialty. Emma and I got engaged 6 months ago. No drama, just mutual support. My practice has a 3-month wait list. So many grew up ignored while siblings were praised. You saved my sanity, one client told me. The book deal came after my viral article. The advance paid off loans and launched the practice. Sophia works retail now. Academic fraud ended her college dreams. Mom still makes excuses, but the golden child pedestal is gone. Dad, post-divorce, once said, "I'm sorry, we forgot you had needs too." Mom cut contact, blaming me for ruining the family. But truth isn't what broke us, lies did. Clients now email, "I feel worthy. I cut off my narcissistic mom." That's the real win. Sophia was the golden child, but I turned pain into purpose. I earned this honestly. I was worth it all along.